Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rachakudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Genesis, the 43rd chapter. And the famine was sore in the land, and it came to pass, when they had eaten up the corn which they had bought or brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. So at this point, maybe it's been a couple weeks, maybe it's been a couple months, who knows, right? Based on how much they got. But Simeon is still in Egypt at this point. So Jacob says, Look, we're running out of food. We got to go buy some more. And Judah spake unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, Ye shall not see my face except your brother be with you. So you remember that the land, the Lord of the land said that he made it very clear to us that we can't come back there if we're not coming with Benjamin. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said to us, or said unto us, Ye shall not see my face except your brother be with you. And Israel said, Wherefore deal ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? So why'd you do this to me? Why would you even tell him that you had a brother? If you hadn't told him that, we wouldn't be in this situation. And they said, I'm sorry. The man asked us straightly if our of our state and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down? So he said, Look, when we got there, he specifically asked us, all right, you guys are saying you're true men. He asked us about our family. He says, Your father that you said you live with, is he yet alive? We said, Yeah. He asked us, You have another brother? We said, Yeah. We didn't know he was going to say, Bring your other brother down. And Judah said unto Israel, his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. So just let him go with us. We'll make sure that he's good. But clearly we're running out of food, and so we can't go without Benjamin. I will be surety for him. So Judah basically says, I will be like a security, right, for him, as like my life for his kind of thing. Of my hand shalt thou require him. So he's gonna be my responsibility. And if I bring him not unto thee and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned the second time. See? So look, this whole time we've been, you know, going back and forth. We could have been there, got the food, and came back already. And their father Israel said unto them, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm, and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand. Peradventure, it was an oversight. So maybe it was an accident, right? And then you just take it back, you take extra money, you give him a present, tell him, look, you're sorry, you don't know what happened, it was an accident, and maybe he'll forgive you. Take also your brother, and arise, go again unto the man. And God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your brother, or your other brother, that is Simeon, and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. So at this point, he's like, you know what? If I lose my children, then so be it. We all gonna die anyway if we don't get food. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, Bring these men home, and slay and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. So Joseph was on duty. So when they came, he told his assistant, You take them to my house and prepare, lunch, and I'm gonna eat with them. And the man did as Joseph bade. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And Joseph probably had, I guess what would be the equivalent of a mansion, because he's a big man. Big man. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us and fall upon us and take us for bondmen and our asses. So he's probably bringing us here, because he suspects that, or maybe they set us up, because I know we paid the money, but now it was put back in our sack. Somebody probably set us up, and now he's going to use that as a reason to take us for slaves. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house. So because of that, they say, you know what, let's just talk before Joseph gets here. Let's talk to the steward and maybe we could clear things up. And they communed with him at the door of the house and said, "Oh, sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass when we came to the inn that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. And other money we brought down, or have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put the money in our sacks. So, we just know that it was there, but we don't know how it got there." And he said, "Peace be to you, fear not. Your God and the God of your father have given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money." And he brought Simeon out onto them. So he basically tells them, no, 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 you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry. That was probably a treasure from your God, because I received the amount that you paid for the food. I tracked it down. So don't worry. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. And that's like, um, food for the asses. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon. So before Joseph got there, the present that they brought, the fruits and all that, they made that ready. For they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. Second instance. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, "Is your father well? The old man of whom you spake, is he yet alive?" And they answered, "Thy servant our father is in good health, he is yet alive." And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, "Is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me?" And he said, "God be gracious unto thee, my son." So he basically couldn't help but to show favor in like a blessing form, right, to Benjamin, because that was his. Yeah, they were all biological brothers through their father, but that was his brother of the same mother. So he probably felt a closer connection to Benjamin, especially being his younger brother as well. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep. So basically, when he saw Benjamin, he had this like flurry of emotions, right, bubbling up, because you can imagine he probably missed him so much. It's been like over a decade, right? So he probably missed him so much that he couldn't maintain his composure anymore. So he had to like quickly, step out, as it says, to find somewhere to go and cry, because he was basically breaking down at this point, and obviously he didn't want to do that in front of them. And he entered into his chamber and wept there. And this is like when somebody is like, it now becomes hard for them to speak. They can't even form the words because they're trying to hold back tears. So he had to dip out quick. As it says, he went into his chamber or his room and he wept. And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, "Set on bread." So refrain meaning like now he controlled himself, right? Like he composed himself, because now he's in the presence of them, but they don't know it's him, but he knows it's them. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians, which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. And I think in one of the other chapters when we get there, it goes into that that basically the Egyptians, as it says, they don't eat with the Hebrews because they're an abomination unto them. So they're separate, right? And I believe it goes into like whether like them viewing the Hebrews as unclean or something of that sort, because especially because of like them being shepherds. Okay, now there's information out there concerning this being related to, if you look up the Hyksos, which are the shepherd kings, that I think there's info out there about how they overran Egypt at some point, and that led to this bad taste, or this disdain between the Egyptians and the Hebrews, because there's also sources that point the shepherd kings to Hebrews, but it's all information out there anyway. Um, but based on what we're seeing here, whatever the reason, there was a separation here where the Egyptians didn't, as it says, not just eat bread, but they didn't really closely associate with the Hebrews. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. And this was because the way that Joseph ordered their seating was from eldest to youngest. So they marveled because they didn't know that that was Joseph, but obviously he knew them. He knew who was the eldest and knew who was the youngest. So their minds, they're like, oh, shoot, like, how did he, like, he placed us by age, but how did he know that? And he took and sent messes on to them from before him. But Benjamin's mess, and the mess is like the food. Benjamin's mess was 5 times so, damn, 5 times so much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. And that brings us to the end of the book of Genesis, the 43rd chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.